This your man Sim in the building. I got my boy Savvy here. You know what I'm saying? And we about to go ahead and get this thing popping, ladies and gentlemen. Savvy, let me get you on over here, man, because I haven't, it's been a minute since we've been able to do a show, you know what I mean? So we finally here in the building, got this thing pop-a-locking tonight.
Yeah, it's been
got a lot of things to talk about, you know what I'm saying? We got to catch up a little bit. What's poppin' with you, Savvy? How you been?
You know what I mean, holding it down as always, bro. Staying solid with it. Hoping these rappers can find some cover out here. Jeez.
Yo, no doubt, man. A lot of stuff to get to, man. Right there. That we were just listening to that Busta Rhymes joint with Rick Ross. It's called Master Fard Muhammad. And
yes,
Rick Ross came and surprised me on that joint, no doubt. He surprised me on that joint. Rick Ross came with it.
I enjoyed his verse and go back to that video that we did previewing it. Man, oh man, I was looking forward to what he was gonna do with it. Right?
Yeah.
And let me ask you, what's your overall verdict on the album?
Yo, I had to go back and make sure I listened to it a few times, but I think it's a really dope album. We actually skipped over the Mariah Carey joint, and even the Mariah Carey joint is tough.
That one is tough. That one is
even
tough.
That's tough. We skipped over it because we kind of like, we listened to it, it's like, it's whatever. But that joint was tough, man. That joint was tough when I went and finally really listened to it.
I enjoyed it. I liked a lot of the features. I liked different ones more than I thought I would. Like, some of those jumped out further than certain other ones that I was looking forward to, and I was like, wow, like this is pretty impressive. Did he drop a deluxe version already?
I don't think he dropped it yet. I believe he was going to. I thought they said something about it. I know when he was talking to T.I., he told T.I. that, he was going to, they could do a joint on the deluxe version of the album. I don't know if it actually happened yet.
I feel you. Because I saw him post something and I was thinking about it and I was like, damn, like, is that already out? And then I'm also looking and my first listen, I could have sworn the album was shorter than 22 songs.
No, that joint,
has it been 22 songs all along?
That joint is,
or am I tripping?
Nah, bro, that joint is 22 joints.
It's a great workout album.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I was listening to it in the gym, and I like a lot of the topics. He did some remixing. He did the Out of My Mind with Bell Biv DeVoe. Rhapsody was spitting on there. Mm-hmm. The Vibes Cartel track is more of a vibe than I was expecting it to be. It caught me off guard. I was seeing some takes online, some people saying that they wasn't messing with it.
Yeah, there was a little with it.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, I could definitely see some of the music choices being like dated to some people, but I still had fun with it. I mean,
the album, he started making the album 12 years ago.
Yeah,
12 years ago started making the album, but I think it's definitely a testament to his catalog, because I think it's a dope album, man. I think it's a super dope album. I
like it too.
Every track is the Anderson .Paak one is all right. The Vibes Cartel, listen, they're cool songs, and it's not gonna be for everybody, right? But that's the best thing about Busta Rhymes. He can make music for everybody.
Yeah, that Anderson .Paak song, it actually stands out to me. I like that one a lot. You know, I love me the good Kendrick, good Sir Kendrick
Yeah, of
appearance on there.
course.
But that Q-tip,
Woo! That
that
joint is
Q-tip
fire.
verse.
That joint, the Q-tip joint is tough.
The
No doubt
abstract
about
and
it,
the
man.
dragon again, baby.
The,
That was
yeah,
just filthy.
yeah,
That was
that
filthy.
Q-tip, man. I mean, when the Q-tip didn't make the beat, but
Right.
when I heard the beat, I was like, that's a sound like a Q-tip beat. Although Q-tip didn't make the beat, it sounded like a Q-tip beat to me. You
Right.
know what I
He
mean?
was skating
Yeah, I
on
like that
thing.
joint. I really do like that song. That joint hits. The song "Boom" to me is okay. You know, nothing wrong with it. It's just all right though to me. The last half of the album, after the Mariah Carey joint, "Where I Belong," you really get into some deep topics there. Like he really goes in. You got Deep Thought, The Young God Speaks. That's really kind of a little interlude type of thing. You got Look Over Your Shoulder with Kendrick Lamar. The Young God Speaks leads into Look Over Your Shoulder.
Yeah.
You got You Will Never Find Another Me with Mary J. Blige. Freedom with Nikki Greer. Then you
Fire.
got the song Satanic at the end. Like that little stretch right there at the end is crazy.
Dirty. Tell me something. What was your initial impression of Rhapsody's verse on the song and the topic?
So with Rhapsody, that song with Rhapsody is about
The
I had to listen to
co-parenting.
it. It's about the co-parenting, right? And it's about
Right.
the mother keeping the child from Busta,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that is a topic that I'm glad that Busta approached
Yeah, me
because
too.
it's never approached, ever approached, right? It's always, you know, the father didn't take care of the child. That's always the topic that's approached,
Yeah.
right? And this is not to come down on women at all. It's just that it happens, right? That one parent, sometimes when you're in a dispute or whatever happens, keeps the child away from the other parent, right? The custodial parent keeps the child away from the other parent. And
Yeah.
clearly that's not fair. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if that parent owes you child support. You know what I'm saying? That's not a reason to keep the child away from the other parent.
Exactly.
It's not a reason at all. You know what I mean? Because the kid could care less about child support. They don't know anything about no child support. All they know is they can't see their mother or father or they're being kept from their mother or father because of whatever, whatever.
Yeah, some personal conflict between the two parents resulting in them not being able to have that same two parent experience as they're trying to facilitate. Now, I saw some reactions to it. I was very interested with the angle that Rhapsody took on her verse,
Uh-huh.
right? Because they could have easily gone in the direction of I'm going to do I'm gonna do the male side of the conflict, and you do the female side of the conflict. But instead, what she did was more of a feminine perspective examination of some of the toxic behaviors that can arise in the female parent at times as a result of the malice that can come out of a split.
Yeah.
And some people were saying that they felt as if she was spitting like an anti-women verse or something like that. But I'm like, I disagree with that take because I feel like these problems do exist.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people have had that friend who has a child and cannot keep the relationship with the mother,
Yeah.
and then and then as a result of whatever sort of malice or vendetta develops there, the child becomes like a weapon against the father.
Right.
And I feel like it was good to have that examination done in that verse.
And
skillfully too.
I was listening to, I don't know if you got a chance to watch it, but Busta Rhymes did an interview with Van Jones. Really good interview. Really, really good interview with Van Jones.
Got it on my list. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, you gotta watch it. I'm gonna do a portion of it tonight, you know. But it's great. All you gotta do, you know, if you go to YouTube and type in Busta Rhymes and Van Jones, it'll come up. It's on The Messy Truth. And he actually talked about that song. Van Jones talked about that song as well. And what Busta said is it was actually Rhapsody's idea.
Really?
Right? Like she really helped to bring it out. You know what I mean? So listen, it's a topic that should be approached. You know, should be approached. You can't always, everything can't always, and ladies, if you're listening, you know, it's nothing against you. I'm sorry. Right? But everything can't always be against the guy. It can't always be the man's fault. Sometimes it's going to be the woman's fault too.
Yeah, and sometimes things don't have to be as difficult as they are being made to be by both parents, right? But we have plenty of exposure to some of the typical wrongdoings of the male parent,
right?
And I feel like it's good to have that openness, that dialogue, and the closest you can get, in my opinion, to a classic formula, a formula that will give you the highest chances of replay value and timelessness in your track, is a track that broaches real issues that happen in the Black community and in relationships in general that don't get illuminated very often, that everybody knows, yes, that happens, I can relate to it, you know, or I've heard of somebody going through it, and it's very true, especially if they rap very well while they do it.
Yeah. You know, so you know, it was definitely a great topic to approach. That entire interview with Van Jones was dope, man. And Busta Rhymes really exposed and opened up about a lot of stuff in that interview, man. He talked about his dad, his father. He talked about some of the health issues that he's been through. You know, and you know, I posted, you know, some videos of him, you know, crying. Right? Not some videos, but at least one video of him, you know, crying about because he completed his album. Right? Now, when you listen to some of the things that they were talking about in this Van Jones video, you know, they were talking about you know, just how, you know, why he gained so much weight, you know, what he went through when he lost his father. He watched his mother go through a lot of pain dealing with the loss of his father and stuff like that. And it was difficult for him. I'm saying it was difficult for him. And it's it's a heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching interview. You know what I mean? So I want to play the part. And this is about 10 minutes right here. I'll play a portion of it. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Right. I want to play the part where he talks about his health scares. Right? But let me get to the part first. All right, let me get to it and then I'll bring it up. Because it was surprising. I did not know that Busta Rhymes was dealing with such health issues. You know what I'm saying? And it's amazing that they were able to keep it such a secret that he was dealing with these health issues. I'm saying, because I was clueless with it. You know what I'm saying?
I was thinking about that with Chadwick too. Like how Chadwick just bit the diagnosis and kept making movies and didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like what kind of zone you got to be in to go out like that? That's intense.
Yeah, and there was actually a point. There was actually a point where Busta said he actually almost died.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or he was on the verge of death.
I forgot what exactly was the health issue that he was dealing with.
So yeah, so I'm
I saw
gonna
a clip.
Yeah, so actually instead of me playing the clip, just for copyright purposes, I'm gonna play it and we can listen to, Busta talk a little bit about, some of his health issues. All right. So this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is Busta Rhymes. This is on The Messy Truth from Van Jones, and he's going to open up about his weight gain, some of his health scares and stuff like that. All right, so let's listen in.
At the time when he discovered it, he was like, "It ain't nothing serious where we got to deal with no surgery, but we need to monitor this closely, and you need to change some of these behavior patterns."
Let me stop it right there, because what he's talking about in that clip is his doctor found some like bumps on his vocal cords or something like that.
Oh, the polyps.
Yeah, the polyps. Exactly. Good, great. You got the word. So the polyps on his vocal cords, and he was losing his voice. Right, he was losing his voice. And he would, without even rapping, he would lose his voice. So of course he went to the doctor, and then the doctor gave him, some steroids to take it away. So it would like instantly take it away. Right. So let's go ahead. Let's listen to Busta.
And he would give me these prednisone steroid pills to shrinking the swelling of the vocal cords and the polyps, so I could have a quick fix for my voice to come back. I go do the show, get my money, come home, everything's cool. It started to happen more and more frequently because, we hard-headed. Mm-hmm. So, when we could get the quick fix and it works, we ain't as quick to want to change the behavior pattern or the lifestyle changes that's necessary, because we know we got a quick fix that works. After a while, your body starts to become immune to this prednisone. Oh, no. And the side effect was also gaining weight. So that added to the crazy food eating diet and the drinking and the late night shit and not training and none of that. The prednisone added significant weight to my just terrible behavior patterns at the time. This is happening for 3 years. Nobody ain't knowing nothing. I ain't telling nobody nothing. The last time this happened, again, I'm gonna go back to the night at Club Poppy's. Mm-hmm. After my son and me and the security saw that, and I went home. I had a show to do that Friday in Dubai. The next day, between the club and the drinking, celebrating the Czar video, I lost my voice. I called Dr. Kessler. I need a referral, doc. I'm in LA. You not out here. Who's the next doctor that you recommend for me to go see that meets the standard of what you provide as a service? Sends me to a doctor on Bedford, off of Little Santa Monica, a couple blocks away from Rodeo. I go to the doctor. I go in there with one security that I was with out of the two that had the conversation with me after my son spoke to him. And the nurses send me into the doctor's room. Before the doctor comes in, I'm sitting in there by myself and I'm on my iPhone looking at the gram or whatever. So I'm at my most relaxed. And when you at your most relaxed, you ain't paying attention to your stomach, your slouch that you sitting, the way you breathing. You ain't paying attention to none of that shit. So the doctor comes in the room from outside the door, and the first thing he says to me is, "Good afternoon." I can hear you breathing from outside of the door. I'm not hearing myself breathing like this, but I can only imagine how many other people been hearing me breathing like this and ain't been saying shit.
Right.
So I haven't been hearing myself breathe like this because I'm around myself all the time. So I'm not hearing this shit the way he made it seem like it sounded to him. But the way he made it seem was like a whole nother extreme to what I was realizing it was in my reality. So he's like, we need to immediately look at what's going on down in your throat, because I spoke to Dr. Kessler. He sent me some history on what's happening with your throat, and we need to look at this. So stick this thing up in my nose, like a black tube with a light at the end, and it has like a camera lens on it so they could see. And it goes down into my throat. And as soon as he saw what was going on, he says, oh my God, I cannot let you leave my practice without calling the ambulance.
What?
Yeah, so I'm looking at him crazy, and I'm asking him, what you talking? The fuck is you talking about? Like, he was like, I gotta send you to UCLA medical emergency room right now. I'm like, you need to tell me what the fuck you saying instead of telling me all this other shit. Like, I don't need to hear all this other shit. I need to hear what's going on. He says your polyps grew so big that it blocked 90% of your breathing passage. And if I send you home tonight and you sleep under the AC and catch a cold, and that last 10% of your breathing passage gets blocked up, you're going to die tonight. I just started crying. So.
What? What was present for you?
I just couldn't believe that that's how bad my condition was. I couldn't believe I was that close to death. I wasn't feeling no pain. I was just wondering if I ain't lose my voice, and I didn't go to the doctor that day. I sleep under the fan, bro. I'm a hot blood, so I sleep with the fan on. I sleep with the AC blowing. I need, like, the air circulation is important for me. So I just was wondering, like, if it didn't play out this way,
Get out of here.
it could have been a whole nother thing. People posting Busta Rhymes, rest in peace, posts on the gram. Thank God that ain't the case. We don't need to even be putting that in the universe, but ultimately it worked out the way it did. And the doctor said I gotta call an ambulance. I didn't want to be in no ambulance. So he made me sign a document that would exemplify him, that it would exonerate him, from any legal ramification if I left and didn't go to the hospital. I did what he said, and I went straight to UCLA Medical. They took me straight into the back. I didn't have to sit in emergency thanks to him and the calls that he made proactively. And they stuck the thing down in my nose again, and they looked at it and they said, we can't send you home.
Wow.
We have to admit you now. And we're gonna need to perform an emergency surgery on you tomorrow.
Damn.
That's when I knew shit was real.
You could have got on that plane and landed.
And that would have been it. I could have went home that night, and that could have been it. So I ain't never shared this story with nobody. I'm sleeping in a hospital. Same security that was with me. I asked him to stay because he was the only person with me, and I ain't want no bunch of people to know to panic people. So he stayed, slept on the couch. I couldn't go to sleep. Dr. Chetri. I love the shit out that doctor because he was extremely diligent in making sure that I was comfortable, like mentally. And
What do you do?
It's the way he spoke to me and reassurances, and he let me know, ain't nothing to worry about. We're not even going to cut the pallets to the point where it affects you vocally with how you sound sonically, because we know that's your instrument. But there is no way we can leave it as is. Now, these palaps can also go away. You need to change your behavior patterns, though. Because you can stay doing what you're doing, and after we cut them shits could grow back.
Be right back here. But this time you may not get that.
You might not get that
No.
same luck, right? So, my only conversation with him is there ain't no room for error. There is no room for an accident. You can't cut some wrong shit that's going to have me bleeding internally and kill me on the operating table. You can't do none of that. I'm begging you.
Why not?
Because there is no other option. I provide for too many people.
And that
Hey,
right
yo,
there, ladies
this
and
is
gentlemen,
Longevity with BringingDownTheBand.com.
that right there, ladies and gentlemen, was that was Busta Rhymes with Van Jones on The Messy Truth. And basically, Savvy, before he even gets to that story, he talks about, what led him down that path. And what led him down that path was when his father passed away, he kind of felt like, fuck everything, basically.
Yeah,
and
smoking 30 blunts a day.
Exactly.
Drinking,
Smoking, drinking, partying,
performing.
Overindulging in food, all kinds of wild stuff. So it's a it's a really good video. Really good video. Yeah, like Busta Rhymes is one of those artists I never knew much about him personally. You know what I'm saying? This opens him up a lot.
For real.
And explains some of the concepts that you hear on the album too. So if you get a chance, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, go ahead. My bad. Sorry, go ahead.
No, well, if you get a chance, ladies and gentlemen, definitely check out the album. It's a good listen. It's a fun listen. All right. Like you said, Send the Mariah Carey joint went harder than I expected it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, it's just good music. Like Busta Rhymes knows how to make a good album, and he made you a good album. You know what I'm saying? I was having a blast in the heyday of his last popular charting era, right? And so listening to some dated music at times just brings me back to that nostalgic time. It doesn't sound dated in a bad way to me at all. And of course, the raps are always fantastic with Bus. But let me bring something up that he said. The bedside manner of the doctor. I mean, maybe you could chalk that up to a wealthy patient, but a lot of people don't get no good bedside manner in the hospital, especially black men. You know what I'm saying? Black women too, actually. Just healthcare, and implicit biases play out in these interactions as well. And so I'm glad that he had that. He said, there is no other option. I provide for too many people. Right. He's probably realizing just how much he's been taking for granted all along with his destructive ways at that point. And it's a moment that I can not really relate to in the sense of being a provider for a large number of people, but I can relate to that moment where you're in the hospital and it's things are uncertain. It's not a comfortable hospital stay, and things get very fatalistic, and you start to ask yourself, man, these choices I've been making, that choice I made this time, was that worth the uncertainty of this moment of my well-being, right? And that's a serious moment that I hope a lot of rappers can reflect on before they get face to face with the Reaper like that. Because for example, I was listening to Westside Gunn on the Joe Budden podcast recently.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a part where he was talking about his bout with COVID and how before that he was one of the main ones doubting. And he was talking about how he was doing all the indulging. He had asthma, right, already, but his asthma never really bothered him or nothing. But now he takes an inhaler pump every single day, and he can't go without it. And he said, I was smoking like an ounce of weed a day. You know what I'm saying? And I have anxiety problems and stuff like that. So that respiratory attack really pushed him to the edge there. and a respiratory attack or something in your throat, any sort of a thing like that threatens the airways, it is not to be played with one bit.
No doubt.
Friend.
No doubt.
One bit,
No doubt.
especially
No
for
doubt.
people who breath control and vocal performance
Right.
is so important to their livelihoods.
Exactly. You know, so if you get a chance, man, make sure you go check that out. Just, you know, check it out. Van Jones, The Message Truth. It's a real dope interview. It's about an hour and a half or something like that. You mentioned Westside Gunn.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Westside Gunn went on the Joe Budden show, Joe Budden podcast, whatever it's called now, and said he's off Shady. Right, just said it. He said this is his quote. He said I'm off Shady. I'm actually a free agent. It feels great. Who Made the Sunshine was it. I already spoke to Paul Rosenberg. Everything's good. Like, everything's signed, sealed, and delivered. I have my paperwork. Like, I'm off Shady. What happened there?
Is that a rhetorical question, or are you really asking?
Yeah, I'm really asking.
All right. Well, let's think about Shady Records in a large perspective for a second here. Tell me the standout artist on Shady Records. Tell me the guy that signed there and did really well and blew up, and it was dope. I mean, 50 Cent was Aftermath, Interscope, right? Or was he technically Shady at the time? Was it a co-venture?
I don't know I don't know what the exact contracts of the deal were.
I felt like it was an Interscope Aftermath type of thing. Listen, there was a very interesting thing that Westside said, because he kind of talks about it at two separate points in the podcast, right? They talk about it, and then they have a few other topics, and then they kind of revisit it later. And when he revisited it, he touched on the fact that, you know, there was the M feature on that Bang song. Eminem was dropping much more actively between 2017 and 2020 than he was prior. And when he said that, I was like, that's one of the observations I didn't make, you see. And when you look at that, but the glaring absences of Griselda features on those albums, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, if I'm gonna try to promote an artist's career or expose them to more people, and I'm the megastar, it does more work if I have them on my album than if I give them a feature for their record, especially if no one asks for that feature. Anyway, wasn't a bad feature, but you know, I don't think the song really needed it. Look at what kind of a person Westside Gunn is. Westside Gunn is the kind of a person who will put out an album shortly after releasing an album, even if you feel like it might be too soon, just because he's like, he got a I'm here, my moment is now, let me feed the game type of mentality. Let me steer this culture. He's a vanguard sort of a guy, right?
Right.
He moves on artistic impulse and taste and not really conventional wisdom. A guy like that needs to be given industry and exposure and enabled to do whatever he needs to do to get into his creative renaissance, right? When you have people who understand the value of what they bring, then that's no problem. But who is the main guy handling the business? Paul Rosenberg and M. M is an artist and also an executive and a producer, but the criticisms of him are clear, right? When it comes to Paul Rosenberg, this guy was in charge of Def Jam for a while there. We had a quick exchange a few months ago about how we felt about the people who were signed to Def Jam, right? seems to me like they were playing more of a publishing royalties game, signing a lot of songwriters who wouldn't really come to be known in their own right, but probably would sell a lot of lyrics and songs and melodies to other artists and keep the royalty stream strong. That's great and everything. It kind of makes me feel like the small ball approach to the music industry, right? And I was like, you gotta have somebody around that kind of understands culture and what's dope and what's next, right? Because I can't think of a guy who benefited from Paul Rosenberg who isn't named Eminem, right? And let me ask you this question, Sim. When you look at the award shows over the past couple years, all of the ones that dabble in any sort of hip hop category, right? Doesn't it seem odd that while the game is on fire from this Griselda Buffalo movement, they're not really popping up at these award shows like that? They're not really getting nominated. That video they did for What Would Sheen Gun Do, the 12 Virtual Right Brick on My Brick, that video, I saw that get nominated for best video at like one award show.
I mean, you know, the hard thing about it is, you know, a lot of these award shows, you know, music that becomes, you know, popular is what's gonna get the shine. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like Griselda's like the ultimate underground, mainstream underground type of group.
And let me ask you this, right? Don't you feel like, if anything, the BET Hip Hop Awards are typically the ones, if something is dope but it's not popular, actually, I'll rephrase, if it's not like top 40, right? Because this hip hop is top 40, right? But if something is just it right now in the culture, don't you feel like they typically do a decent job of picking up on that?
Right.
I feel like they do. I feel like there's been times where I've been exposed to people,
right,
you know, that I wasn't necessarily listening to. It seems like for such a big label, right, that clearly has the budget to do some of these things, I feel like there wasn't enough advocating for that sort of a transition. And he also mentioned Get Rich or Die Trying, the movie, and 8 Mile, and said that they have all of these great, intense, like gangsta ass, like real shit, like hip hop esque stories to tell. They're already getting into film with Benny starring in an indie film that's going to be out sometime soon. I'm hoping,
right? It's about Buffalo, right?
Yeah. Something about like Buffalo gangster.
Yeah.
Right.
So
and I'm wondering, I'm like, was he looking for them to sort of brand and industry eyes, right, these guys more so, right? Because I feel like that's a good point I haven't thought of. What if there was a movie about that come up? How long was 50 Cent signed before we saw the movie?
Right.
Not that long.
Right. You know, it's I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, what should be the next move? I think the next move should be for them to just say, let's do our own thing. You have enough recognition now. Westside Gunn, just do your own thing. Don't deal with these dudes. Just do your own thing. I think that's just the way to do it. Do your own thing.
Like,
you know, or maybe, hey, Savvy, maybe they just kicked him off because he put out that Frank Murphy beat.
Frank Murphy beat.
Oh my gosh. You know what I'm talking about. I'm joking, ladies and gentlemen, but you know what I'm talking about, that Frank Murphy. You haven't heard it? You heard it.
Murphy. The Frank Murphy beat. I'm trying to think about it.
Conductor. 8 minutes of this.
Oh. Ooh, yeah.
Maybe he got in trouble for putting out 8 minutes of this beat.
Stovey's home, I spin keys to gold, saran wrap on the floor, been ripping them like Bruce Bowen.
Did Stove God cook this?
Got the pole stopping up though. He said now he want 20,000.
I don't know
to get him
who
gone.
produced it,
Yeah,
but
last week you shot a nigga over.
just saying, 8 minutes of this beat right here, right? It's like listening to 8 minutes of nails scratching on a freaking chalkboard or something. I actually have grown to it a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I've grown to it a little bit, but still.
I fucked up the summer.
I
Make sure you tell them niggas back then.
like the verses on here. And let me ask you something, right? When you saw that they got, because it's Conway and Westside that signed to Shady. Benny was never signed there.
Right.
You see the trajectory of Benny's albums.
Yeah.
When you compare that to the Conway albums, right? Don't you feel like Conway's albums would have done a bit better without sort of the direction being provided there, right? I feel like the same way I felt when Kanye did Nasir, right? And it was like the rapping is always fantastic from this guy, but are these necessarily the sort of directions that I would like this album to go? I like them all. I felt like when we heard From King to a God, there was more attention put there and more input without the influence of any sort of a label situation, right? And Westside is so dope that he's gonna be hands-on with it all the way through, so he's always gonna have some hard stuff on there. But Lulu, I felt like, even though it was shorter, was better than the Look What I Became tape. But the Look What I Became tape was still great. So these guys are still just gonna put up fantastic music. When you look at the Rock Nation situation, I that made more sense to me. But that is a management thing for Benny and Westside, not for Conway.
Right.
So Conway is not involved there the same way that Benny was not involved in the Shady deal. And Conway only has one album left on the Shady deal.
Yo, well, in my opinion, man, when they get off, when everyone's, contracts are up, they need to just go ahead, and just rock with Griselda Records.
I agree.
And
I believe that's
just rock with Griselda Records and do their own thing. That's what I think. Just do their own thing. You know what I'm saying? You have the power now. You have the power now to put the music out there without needing the, you don't need the backing of Rock Nation or Shady.
Not only that, but we're in this age of COVID where tours aren't really happening, and you don't really need a big industry machine to help ease the process as much. You could set up your online store, and merch was already flying off the shelves for these guys. They could just eat off of the retail market, creating these artifacts that people love, these clothing, these hats, these vinyls, right? They got Armani Caesar in the fold. She's fire, right? Man.
So
man, I don't know how you sign artists like Westside and Conway and you do anything but make them not want to stay there, right there.
Exactly.
Like, man, like if it's me, I'm giving Westside Gunn, like, I'm putting him in charge of creative. I'm taking his input on signing other artists. Like you know what I'm saying? I'm making him a partner in what's being done there, because he's clearly much more than a musical artist. This man is a mogul.
So sticking with Griselda, man. Benny the Butcher is in Houston at Walmart. He got shot.
Mm-hmm.
So my first question, so why the hell are you at Walmart, Benny? I go to Walmart. You don't go to Walmart. Send somebody else to go to Walmart.
It's like when Shaq's card got canceled when he tried to buy like millions of dollars worth of stuff at Walmart.
Yeah, right. I mean, Benny, why are you at Walmart? Bro, send somebody else to Walmart. I mean, I get it. He's not that famous to the point where everyone's going to notice him and know who he is, right? But enough people are going to know who you are. And guess what?
The right guys will know who you are.
The right people are going to know who you are. The people, the right people are going to know who you are. The people that you don't want to know who you are going to know who you are.
Those are the fans.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, why are you going to Walmart, bro?
Man.
Walmart.
That being said, nigga gotta be able to pull up to Walmart without getting shot up, man.
I get it. You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
agree. Yes, you're right. You gotta be
and
able to,
who knows?
Anybody should be able to walk into Walmart and not get shot up.
Who knows the situation? Maybe something happened. They needed something on the road on the way somewhere, and the Walmart was right there. The report that I heard, as reported, I cannot name the publication at this moment because it escapes me. But the day it happened, the most detailed account I got was that they were actually in the parking lot, so they might have just got done shopping or something like that. He gets recognized. A car pulls up next to their car. MFers jump out asking for chains.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they got the chains or not, right? In my imagination, I like to imagine that they didn't, because Benny is like a superhero to me, you know what I'm saying? I can't imagine him getting robbed by anybody. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So in my imagination, they did not succeed. But I guess there was an attempt to get away from danger, and then the whip got sprayed, maybe.
Yeah. So this is what I'm reading on TMZ right now. It says the New York rapper was in town Saturday and visiting a local Walmart with a couple of friends in tow. While they were in their car in the parking lot, were told a car with 5 guys inside pulled up next to them and whipped out guns, demanding their chains. Apparently, Benny and company were moving too slow for the alleged robbers' liking. And the cops say one of the guys fired a round into Benny's leg, which caused the crooks to flee. We're told Benny and his friends booked it as well, but eventually pulled over to call the police. Benny was taken to the hospital for treatment. His condition is unknown. Well, at that time, his condition was unknown.
Yeah.
All right.
When you see that, it's always that one nigga that's doing too much, bro.
Right.
That just takes it a step too far. Like you just go and pop the man in the leg. Like, goddamn. And one thing I didn't like when this was getting reported, Sim, I didn't like how everybody was just acting like it was a foregone conclusion that he was gonna be okay just because it was a leg shot. A leg shot will kill a lot of people.
Yo, let me tell you something.
There's arteries there.
I told this story the other day, right? I don't know where I told. I don't know who or where I told it to. I think I was on a podcast or something like that. My stepfather, right, in Utica, New York, not far from Buffalo. When he was young, there was this house there, this old lady, and around her house used to be all this freaking white powder around her house, right? And everybody in the neighborhood swore up and down she was a witch. And so he told me this story that when he was little, she was there when he was little. And when he was little, he was on her porch and he stole an apple. She bust out the door. He tried to run down the steps. Right, when he ran down the steps, he fell. He said that she threw her hands out like that You know what I'm saying? And he said that she cursed him and said that he was going to die because of his leg. Right? My stepfather ended up getting gangrene in his leg. And it spread throughout his body and killed him. Right? Yes. Getting shot in the leg can lead to death.
So wait, she shot him or what?
No, she didn't shoot him. She cursed him. He said, according to him, she cursed him.
She cursed his leg.
She cursed his leg. She said she was gonna, because he fell down the steps. She said he was gonna die because of his legs. He swears up and down, and that's the reason that he got. Well, he doesn't now, of course. Rest in peace.
Right.
He passed away, 30 whatever years ago.
Sheesh.
But when like he was in prison, and the gangrene like really started to spread real bad, and so when he was in prison, they took him to the hospital, and they told him that we had to amputate this leg. He played ball too, so he was like, "No, I don't want my leg to be amputated." So they tried to save it. They tried to save his leg. He came home from prison. When he finally came home from prison, like his leg was all, they had gauze that was wrapping around the leg because they had to take all the skin off, try to get the poison out or the gangrene, whatever it was, and then they did a skin graft. Meat. Right. Yeah. Then they did a skin graft. And when you took all the gauze off, all you would see is muscle and veins. That's it. Oh, that's all you saw was muscle and veins behind the gauze. Me and my younger brother, we would have to change that joint every night. We had to clean it up and then change it.
Probably stung, huh?
Did it sting? I'm assuming it stung him. I don't know how it felt for him, but that joint was nasty. I just look at it like, damn, this joint is nasty.
No, I mean it stank like it smelled bad because decaying.
I mean, it smelled like raw meat. It smelled like raw meat. You know what I'm saying? It smelled like raw meat. But we would sit there, we would change it. We would have to clean it and change it for him. And then one day, my stepfather, he was a peaceful dude. Like he did some things to go to prison, but he was a peaceful dude for the most part. And one day, my mother came home, and he was like, he was calling her a B, cursing her out, and he never did that. Never did that to my mother. He always treated my mother with the utmost respect. So he was saying all of that. And my mother knew something was up. So she called, there was a nurse that would always come to help take care of him, check up on him and all that kind of stuff. She called her. That nurse called the hospital. They shipped him to the Albany Medical Center. And he was there for about 3 weeks. He had been in prison 2-3 years, finally came home. Within a couple of months, went to the hospital. He was in there for like 3 weeks. Now, we didn't have a phone or nothing like that. And our neighbor, we always used our neighbor's phone. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. We lived in these projects that were just row houses, right? And it did have an upstairs and a downstairs. When he was in prison, we all slept in the living room. I slept on the floor. Me and my brother slept on the floor. My mother slept on the couch with a big ass freaking knife under the pillow. Right.
The row house is the one that has a more linear layout, like a longer hallway type of setup,
kind of a longer layout,
okay.
right? And 3 o'clock in the morning, someone knocked. I heard a rat-a-tat-tat on the door, and I'm like, "Yo, like, what's going on?" So I kind of knew instantaneously,
something
like,
weird.
Yo, this not right. Like, why is it 3 o'clock in the morning and they telling us we got a phone call? I go to the door. He's like, the girl is like, your mother got a call. My mother goes over. I tell my mother, she goes over. And when she comes back in, I knew. I mean, I had already known. Once she said you got a call, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I already knew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she came back home and she was like, he passed away. Now, it was a painful time for everybody. But he swore up and down that the reason why he had gangrene in the leg is because she cursed him. And that's the reason why. So yeah, Benny Butcher got shot in the leg. Exactly. It's a bacterial infection. Benny the Butcher got shot in the leg, it could end up being, that could be fatal, bro.
Listen,
It'd be fatal.
Do you know where's a good place to get shot? Nowhere.
Exactly.
Okay.
Nowhere. Ain't no place ever good to get shot.
There's no safe choice of where to be shot. Oh, shoot me here. Nah. You could nick an artery, bounce off your bone or something.
Anything, man.
And you bleed out. It gets stuck somewhere. Back, it gets infected. They can't get it out.
Right.
Whatever
right.
paralyzes you.
Anything.
You know what
man.
I'm saying?
Hey,
do you even want to survive now? Like,
right.
You know what
right.
I'm saying? Like, you gotta start asking yourself that question.
Yeah.
Some people in the movies, people get shot and lie down for a couple scenes, and then they're back up and at it in the gym, and they're trying to get back. Nah, sometimes there's a colostomy bag. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
It gets like that. It gets very nasty and ugly and unglamorous.
Yeah.
And humbling and humiliating too.
Yeah, no doubt. So, big shout out to Triborough, man. Thank you. You said, sorry for your loss. I appreciate it. Obviously it was a long time ago. I was 13 years old, I think it was. Something like that. 13, 14 years old at the time. It was a rough time. Sent my family, and we were already dealing with a bunch of stuff. Obviously, he went to prison, so you can imagine we was already dealing with a bunch of stuff. Then we had to deal with a bunch more stuff. But it's the way it goes sometimes, man. But thank goodness Benny the Butcher is, he's good right now. So thank goodness he's good, back on his feet. Said good news. This is from TMZ, updated yesterday. Said good news for Benny the Butcher fans. The guy seems to be doing okay, which is evident in the video that he posted. He posted a video of himself boarding a private jet. And that's my point right there, Savvy. I'm not blaming the victim. Trust me, I'm not victim blaming. But if you have a private jet, not that he has a private jet, but if he has the ability to get on a private jet, you have the ability to send somebody else to Walmart. You know what I mean? Send somebody else to Walmart. Never know what's going to happen to Walmart.
While we're on the subject, I just wanted to address something real quick. First of all, I also offer my condolences for your stepfather. That
Appreciate
sounds
you.
like not a good way to go at all. And I don't care how long it's been since something happened. Whenever I hear that, I always want to offer my respects. But I want to offer my respects also to ML3 and King Von. Boosie was also shot. He also caught around in Texas. I don't know what city, if he was in Houston as well, but I took myself a trip out to Houston. I know I'm not Benny the Butcher or Boosie or something like that, but I was in some spots and I felt like there was a very nice energy in the air. It felt like it didn't feel like, it didn't feel like there was blood in the water or anything like that. It seemed like a very chill, good time. And it's unfortunate that these men had to run into violence. That story about MO3 on the interstate broke my heart. That was awful. Being chased down on foot down the interstate like that in traffic, and then I mean, cosmically, I feel like sometimes things just line up for the wicked to an extent where the traffic was good enough for the man to escape, and the cops have no fucking clue about who might have fired on this man, but it wasn't good enough for MO3 to be able to escape. And even though these might be targeted situations, I have to admonish these people to understand that people don't want to see y'all prosper and get out and make it home safe and live happily ever after. It's a crab ass situation right now. It's a crab ass world. The economy, every time there's an economic downturn, incidents rise, the temperature rises, people's palms start itching, and BS happens. You know, I would. It's too much to ask a guy who has worked his entire life to get to a situation to get his money and his notoriety, and then tell him to just stay locked in somewhere and look over your shoulder and make sure you move properly and be so conscious about your safety. You want to go out there and have fun, and you want to be able to stand up for yourself and do certain things, and it is not worth it.
It is not. It is not, man. Rest in peace to those dudes, man. And these guys are hailing from some of our major cities, or doing Chicago, Houston. I mean, at some point we got to do something for ourselves, man, and stop relying on anybody. I don't care if it's Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. I mean, I don't care who it is. We got to start to rely on ourselves. Obama, freaking Farrakhan. I don't care who it is. We got to rely on ourselves in the community, because none of those people are touching down where our kids live. I don't care. They're not touching down there. And if they do touch down there, they got loads and loads of security with them to make sure that nothing happens. And they can come down there, spit their spit, and then go back to wherever they reside, which is not in those communities. You know what I'm saying? And then our kids are there, but our kids are there trying to push through some of this stuff. So we, as a community, got to decide that it's time for it to end, and we got to step up and do something ourselves, because we're in some pain, and being in the situation that we're in right now with COVID-19 and the way that just the way the world has been in 2020, people are, it feels like there's a lot of pressure on people. You got people who, feel like, I mean, I've met and spoke to parents and kids who have felt like certain kind of ways, and because, they were stuck in the house. You know what I'm saying? And they don't know where to let out their energy. Of course, you got people losing jobs and not knowing when they're going to be able to get another job. Right? So they feel desperate, feel like they got to go out and do certain types of things. It's a tough world out there right now. So, we as a people, man, we gotta decide, this is enough is enough. We gotta take care of our business, take care of our people, and try to stop this from happening. What are all the answers? You know what? Each city is going to have its own answers. And it's not just big city to big city, man. It's small cities where I live, and it's a fairly good neighborhood where I live for the most part. But over the past few months, I mean, we've had, over the last 4 months, and this is a small suburban neighborhood, but over the past 4 months, we've had, at the very least, 5 deaths due to about 5 deaths due to
violence,
gun violence.
Sheesh.
And this is a small community outside of DC, right? About 20 miles south of DC.
And let me tell you something. The streets been bubbling, been simmering for months, and you could tell by a simple trip to the grocery store, certain interactions don't go over as smoothly as they used to. You know what I'm saying? Certain people out there in the street look at you a certain slight way differently, and it's like, people are feeling the tension.
Yeah.
And there's feeling. It's time more than ever to understand, like, listen, kind of kind of look around a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Be aware of your surroundings, right? Don't take unnecessary risks. At least for the time being, just keep it cool. And I wish that MCs could become less targeted, because these guys are important to the community.
I mean,
And not just to the culture, but to the community. Like, what they symbolize is important to people, and they employ people.
Yeah.
I was heartbroken when I saw the impact financially that Nipsey Hussle had made on his community, and what would not be allowed to persist.
Right. And why are these guys targets? Right, they're targets because they're still in the community.
And I feel like
and people
look
at them, some people look at them, and sometimes they're looking at these guys wrong, right? They look at these guys and think that they got, they're getting stupid paid. And a lot of times they're not really getting crazy paid. They might have a chain. Benny the Butcher was getting robbed for his chains. Right. Now, I'm not saying that he didn't buy some, but some of them might have been given to him by Rock Nation, whoever. Right, here you go, I'll give you a chain, right? Because that's your, that's considered your rites of passage into this exclusive record label club, whatever it is. Here's your chain. You know what I mean? And some of these rappers might end up making $50,000 to $75,000 a year. I'm not saying that's not a good salary. What I'm saying is they're making the same salary as a lot of regular people, but you see them on TV, you see them on videos, you hear the lyrics, you know what I'm saying? And obviously they're going to say what they say, and then, you got, they go out and they rent cars and they do this and they do that, to put in the videos. Sometimes they don't even have to rent them. Sometimes, someone will let you loan the vehicle.
Right.
For sponsorship for their business, right? So that their business can get a little bit of pub.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's tough, man. Meek Mill was speaking about this very thing, right? And apparently he's been, what they say, banned from North Philly.
Banned from North Philly for
banned
what?
From North Philly.
How you banned Meek from Philly?
I don't know. It says Meek Mill has apparently upset a handful of local rappers in North Philadelphia. On Sunday, this past Sunday, the Rock Nation affiliate fired off a handful of tweets urging them to put their beefs behind them in the wake of King Von and MO3's recent murders. This is what he said. He said, "I'll get all the main big artists in Philly a deal if they put them bodies behind them and squash them beefs that I hear about. Said, I got some hot young bulls from my city, but they're all beefing. That's just an idea, but I'll push through with my city if y'all make it a thing." Right? I mean, then I guess apparently Philly's Poundside Pop, I'm not sure. I don't really know who he is. It's time for you to pick up a side. Is your zoo or is you not, nigga? That's what he said to Meek. Is you zoo or not? To which Meek said, I ain't no fucking zoo, nigga. See, I'm not in no zoo gang. Right? Poundside then demanded Meek choose an alliance and pressed him about where he was going and pressed him about where he was from, tweeting, "Pretty soon, everybody's going to have to pick a side. Too much real shit is going on to be cool with everybody." Meek responded with 18th Catherine. Poundside quoted Meek's own song, Dreams and Nightmares, in which he raps, "I'm the same nigga from Burke Street with them nappy braids." He added, "Burke Street is the zoo." Basically saying, you turning your back on your people. So he said this shit is sad because Meek Mill don't know where he's from. Right?
Man.
Crazy.
Listen.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Ultimately, Poundside and his friends declared Meek is now banned from North Philly for allegedly associating with their opponents. He said, "Look at this op-loving shit right here." He said, "Oh my God, this op-loving shit. You is from 63rd, bro, not North, bro." He said, "What is wrong with this, bro? You crazy, bro. What's wrong with you? What's going on in your head, bro, is you goofy." So, there you go. There you go.
Yo, I saw a tweet that Meek did. We praised the trenches like we ain't lose most of our homies in there, and that was real to me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what's real to me. Real to me is not making millions of dollars and having options and still choosing to live like you're stuck in the gutter. That's not what realness is to me. Real to me is pulling your friends out that gutter and trying to set a tone for a better way to live life and settle conflicts. Do you understand that a lot of the time when we have to adapt to these environments, we get these survival tendencies, and then generations will go by and we kind of forget that the purpose of that was to make ourselves content with these dire straits that we live in while we try to get up out of it. When you get up out of it, you're supposed to shed that shit. But unfortunately, too few make it out to the point where they can even explore that option.
Yeah.
And it's an entirely whack thing. I feel like another thing that makes this stuff so common is that people know that cops and law enforcement doesn't have a strong incentive to solve crimes related to the murders of rappers unless it happens in a really upscale zip code like the Pop Smoke shooting. Okay. I feel like if there was more consequences for that, then they wouldn't be so targeted. And our culture doesn't have a good relationship with the police, so I don't see that ever, or rather, I don't see that being soon to come for the culture either. And we need to get to a point where we at least have some sort of a way to get to holding each other accountable without killing each other, right? Understanding that certain conflicts are better solved by turning an enemy into a friend, or turning a violent dispute into an economic dispute, right? I feel like these options are not explored by us because we don't have a system behind us, and it's a shame. Because what happens is that we just become content fodder for all these big networks to create 5, 6, and 7 documentaries. Who shot B.I.G.? You know what I'm saying? Who shot B.I.G.? Make a movie about it, a show about it, make a special edition Law and Order about it. You know what I'm saying? Like do a documentary on 6ix9ine, do a podcast on 6ix9ine, do another documentary on 6ix9ine. You know what I'm saying? Like all of these things happen after the fact, and oftentimes they feature interviews with officers that belong to the precinct that should have been investigating that same murder in the first place 5 years after the fact.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm like, until that changes, right? And we stop looking at rappers like they just these bulletproof warriors that we're supposed to that you run up on when you get a little bit hungry. It's not the way.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. But it's gotta be more people not just speaking out, but doing something. Right.
On a happier note, we have the beef between Jeezy and Gucci seem like is at least improving. They're gonna be in the room together.
Okay, right. Right. Other news, man. Lil Wayne faces up to 10 years in prison for federal weapons charges. Listen, here
when
we
did
go.
these charges come down?
Here's the article. So check it out. Lil Wayne is reportedly facing some serious prison time, according to TMZ. The U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida has charged the Cash Money legend with 1 count of possession of a firearm and ammunition by a convicted felon. The charge stems from December of 2019 when federal agents searched Weezy's private plane, which had stopped at Miami Opelika Executive Airport on the way to California. While conducting the search, the agents discovered cocaine and a weapon, but Wayne's attorney, Howard Srebnick, said his client was cleared to leave. Now, the feds believe Wayne was illegally in possession of a weapon and ammunition. Srebnick says the 38-year-old rapper was charged for possessing a gold-plated handgun in his luggage last December. There is no allegation that he ever fired it, brandished it, used it, or threatened to use it, Bresnik says. There is no allegation that he is a dangerous person. The charge is that because he was convicted of a felony in the past, he is prohibited from possessing a firearm. Following the search, three law enforcement sources told the Miami Herald federal agents received a tip about drugs possibly being transported and were working on securing a search warrant from a Miami federal judge, which was evidently authorized. Investigators with the FBI, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, and the Miami-Dade Police and other agencies all showed up to greet Wayne's Gulfstream GV as part of the search squad. If found guilty, Wayne could face up to 10 years behind bars. So there you go. Stemming from something that happened back in 2019.
Bruh. Was he the only damn person on the plane?
Yo, I don't know. Good question. I don't know. Even if he wasn't, it's going to come out about. It's always going to come out about Wayne. You know what I mean?
I don't like this automatic legal presumption that if there's a rapper in the room, everything that is in here belongs to him. Like, come on, fam. Like what the fuck?
I mean, the thing is, the thing is that he owns the plane. He's not a passenger. He owns it. I mean, he's a passenger, but it's his plane. So that makes him responsible. Like if I'm riding with you in a car and I have, I take and I plant or not plant it, but I put all my weed or something like that under your car seat. And I don't smoke, by the way. I'm just using this as an example, ladies and gentlemen. All right. And I put it under your car seat. I put it under your car seat. When the cops pull over, it's yours. And unless I step up and say, yo, that's mine, he didn't know it was there, I put it there.
And I would never make you do that, Sim. I would never ask you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would just step up and say it's mine because I wouldn't want to see,
Hey, man. Hey,
I wouldn't even want to put you in that position for real.
I appreciate you, but you got my permission to let them do their job and investigate and don't say nothing. You also got my blessing to do that too. You know what I'm saying? We're playing. Guess whose is it? I don't know how it got there, officer. I wouldn't ask you to do that, right?
You know how they do. You know how they do.
Yeah. And we both going down in that case, buddy. But listen.
Yo, let me tell you something, man. These cops, I mean, we all know it, but these cops be dirty, man. These cops be dirty. My stepfather.
You're going to take that bag and smoke it.
Ain't no doubt about that. You already know they do that. These cops be dirty, man.
They do. I have a home girl. She stays in South Beach. She told me just last month she was walking home, seen a cop in a squad car getting topped, and I was like, yeah, she was probably topping her way out of a ticket or out of getting arrested or something.
Yeah, she probably was. I mean,
you know what I mean?
I told you a story earlier about my stepfather, right? And the reason why he was in prison for, narcotics distribution. And, they came straight up, raided my crib. Not my crib, my mother's crib. Raided my mother's house. Fortunately, they didn't find anything in there because when they came to the door, bang, 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 they knocked on the door. My mother went to the door, and my mom's a trooper. You know what I'm saying? She's a straight up trooper. They was
you told me she was smacking them up a little bit.
Yeah, they was trying to come up. They was trying to come in the crib or whatever. She was fighting him. I could hear them in the hallway. Pop, 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 pop. He took anything that he needed to get. He got it all out. Jumped out, went out the back way, went over to another block. He would have been free to go. He was gone. You know what I'm saying? But he's an honorable dude. He's an honorable dude. So he came back. And when he came back, they arrested him. They arrested my mother too. Said she was harboring a fugitive. He wasn't a fugitive, so that was basically null and void. But she had to spend a week in jail for that.
They'll try it. Yeah.
Yeah, harboring a fugitive. He wasn't a fugitive.
Okay.
But they planted. They planted a Staples box full of cocaine in the bushes on the side of the building that we was living in. You know what I'm saying? And then they took, when they arrested them, boom, they act like they did their search or whatever. Try to plant that cocaine on him. Now he already had some secret indictments against him. Okay, now because of those secret indictments, that planted cocaine didn't stick because the secret indictments detailed the way that he packaged his goods, right? It detailed all of that. So then, when they looked, they said, well, this can't be his. This is not his because historically, this is not the way he packaged his goods. Da 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 da. That he didn't get that, but obviously he went to prison and got some other charges. But cops are dirty, bro. Not all cops. I'm not saying all cops. I'm just saying there's some dirty cops out there. There's some good cops out there. There's some good cops out there. There is. But there's some dirty ones out there.
I knew black folks was a joke in the eye of justice when we all got to watch a cop plant a gun on Walter Scott after he shot him.
Yeah.
And it didn't become federal law for every single uniformed officer on duty or off duty to always be carrying a body camera and always have it on at all times. Because once you see that happen, it's like, oh, okay, we just got proof that they just nonchalantly plant a weapon on this man after killing him. Or that cop who captured himself planting drugs in the little can outside of a place he was about to raid. I don't know if you remember that one, Sim, but his body cam, he shut it off, but it's one of those that still records for 2 or 3 minutes after you shut it off, right? And they caught him planting the bag of pills or whatever it was. I don't think it was coke at the time, but listen, man, Lil Wayne, people are saying that behavior that he was showing was because he was trying to get a presidential pardon for this very charge. And listen, even if it is,
you never know.
He has a pattern of saying things in that same vein, in that same tone, saying my life matters to my bitches, or saying that he likes cops because a cop saved his life when he tried to kill himself as a child, which, yes, that was a suicide attempt. He admitted it on the Carter 5, on that one song toward the end of the album. Great album. I enjoyed it. But Lil Wayne, to me, man, he been acting weird, bro. He been acting up. I was a big fan of his podcast show when he was doing it. He had a great episode with 50. He had a great episode with all kinds of people on that show. And I think it's a shame how a lot of these rappers is going out these days. You feel me? I follow a lot of them on IG, and I had to unfollow a couple because it's just some people out there getting bamboozled and going out like a tool. And I hope that this man's legal problems don't persist because,
yeah,
I mean, he started off when he was young. You don't need to lose any more time in your life, bro. Just try to stay out from behind them bars, dog.
Yeah, I hope so, man. No doubt. No doubt.
Regardless of how he feels politically, I don't want no misfortune coming into that.
Right.
He's still a hero of my childhood in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I feel you, bro.
Look at what's going on out here, bro. It's messy. It's messy out here.
It is.
You know?
It is. It is.
MC's gotta smarten up and move different, bro. It's time to switch up the playbook on these niggas, bro.
That's it.
Because we're getting caught the wrong way out here.
Yeah. Well, yo, Savvy, man. I appreciate it. Yo, I'm about to head off, man.
Hey, man.
I'm gonna ask everybody that's
It's
out there in
good
the
to be
chat,
back.
man. If you guys are not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. All right, hit that like button for me. Got about 150. We had 175. Hit that like button for me. You know what I'm saying? Smash that like button. Every Tuesday night at 9:30. Normally it's 9:30. Tonight we had to jump on at 10. Every Tuesday night, man, 9:30. We just talking straight hip hop, society, and life. That's it. You know, any topics that's going on, we'll talk about it. We can't hit everything, but we're gonna hit a lot of topics and just, you know, have discussions and talk about it. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you
Yes,
guys.
sir.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Savvy,
Hip hop.
appreciate it, brother.